There are other juicy tax benefits that we have talked about. And I am really excited for you to touch on the rest of these. Uh, we're going to start out with some benefits
Yes.
around the PPP.
So I'm sure PPP, everybody has heard the term, has heard the phrase or acronym. And they did come out in December stating that the expenses that if you did receive a PPP, any expenses that you've paid for with those funds are tax deductible and the income is tax exempt. So big win on the tax benefits for around PPP. Charitable deductions. If you typically take the standard deduction and you don't itemize your deductions, you are now eligible for up to $300 for a deduction of $300 for those who take the standard deduction. So if you typically don't itemize, you typically don't have the availability to deduct your charitable deductions, and this year you do. In 2020 and in 2021, they actually even increased it to $300 for a single and $600 for a married couple filing joint. They really, a lot of nonprofits are hurting, of course, with everybody, with what has gone on, and everybody being in a place of holding on to their funds. A lot of nonprofits have been have suffered through this. So this was to increase donations to nonprofits. There is an election that you can utilize your 2019 earned income to figure your 2020 additional child tax credit. So if you earned more money in 2020 than you did in 2019, you can utilize your 2019 earned income for your child tax credit. That's also true for the earned income credit. But it's a huge win for some folks that made more money in 2020 than they did in 2019. So if you were potentially over the limit, now you can use your 2019. If you were a qualified individual and you took IRA distributions up to $100,000 between January 1 and December 30th of last year, and a qualified individual, there is a listing. But if you had COVID, if you were impacted by COVID, if your business was impacted by COVID, if you were out of work, or laid off during this time, and you did take a distribution, and it's not just through IRAs, actually, it's also through a 401k or other qualified retirement plans, you may be eligible for no 10% penalty if you're under 59 and a half. You can include the income ratably over 3 years. So if you took out $30,000 out of your retirement to help with paying for expenses in 2020, you can take $10,000 into income over the next 3 years. So you don't have to pay income tax on that $30,000 all in 2020. And you may repay all or part of the amount of coronavirus related distributions also over 3 years. So typically you're eligible if you take a distribution from your retirement plan, and you can roll it back in within 60 days without any penalty and without paying tax. The CARES Act allows us to put that money back into the retirement account over 3 years instead of 60 days and still not pay tax on it. And it's an eligible rollover contribution. So this was very big for people who had to rely on some of their retirement funds in order to be able to get through 2020. So if you were in this position, then I would certainly make sure that you're letting your accountant know or your tax preparer know that you were impacted by COVID, you're a qualified individual, and you don't wish to pay tax over the 3 years, or if you wish to pay it back, and that you shouldn't receive a penalty if you're under 59 and a half.
Can I ask you a question back to PPP?
Sure.
So, and I believe this was breaking news over the last few days, but there's something with New Jersey And
Yes. So New Jersey passed
I pay
legislation.
attention. I listen to
Yes.
what you say. So.
Yes, New Jersey passed legislation that PPP income is also tax exempt and the expenses are also deductible. So we knew this from a federal standpoint. At the end of December, New Jersey just passed this earlier this week. So big win for us New Jerseyans, and we do expect some of the other states to follow. So you know, if you're also paying tax in New York or Pennsylvania, we do expect them to follow. But New Jersey, we know, is a win.
Excellent. All right. All right. So those are some pretty significant benefits that might not have been available in years prior.
Oh, they definitely weren't. Yeah, they definitely weren't available in years prior. This is new for 2020.